Alright, so today we've got 3 hot new watches I think you need to know about. As promised, the MRG Casioak review, the new Central Cee G-Shock has arrived, I've got the brand new GW-BX5600s, plus as always I'll be running through some of your wrist shots, then we'll round things off with some crazy deals and discounts I'm about to give you on the Time Drops shop. Welcome back to Time Drops Talk, let's jump in. So first things first, to kick us off, as we love to do here, quick wrist check. Today I am wearing the Quartz Tissot PRX, the mint dial version, dare I say Tiffany-esque dial. Whatever it is, it's an absolutely glorious colorway on this watch. It's a great example of an integrated bracelet sports style of watch, 70s design, but yeah, absolutely beautiful. I picked it up a few years ago and it's been a mainstay in my collection ever since. At a great price point too, may I add. There are not many watches sub $500 that come anywhere close to this, so yeah, great watch. Right, let's get onto some watches that I think are hot right now then. Now, there are loads of awesome G-Shocks dropping right now. If you're new here, I actually run monthly episodes running through all of the latest and upcoming G-Shock releases, and this month's releases were just pure back-to-back bangers. But one that dropped right after our last episode was this collab. I'm a massive fan of Stranger Things, and if you are too, you'll know that season 5 is dropping at the end of this month and into December. And to celebrate, Casio have actually dropped 2 new models. Let's kick off with the G-Shock. So as you can see, this is a very stealthy colorway with pops of red, with a load of really cool elements from the series featured throughout. Perhaps most notably, we've got the twisting vines of the upside down. We've got a red LED backlight on this one. The number 11 is printed on the band keeper. And for me, the coolest touch of them all was the most subtle one. The A in LED backlight is actually upside down. I'm not sure why it's just the A and not the whole LED backlight line, but I suppose that makes it more subtle and just a nice little nuance, you know? But yeah, very, very cool. And it also arrives in some nice commemorative packaging too, with some cool vines across its tin and box with a nice Demogorgon on top. And there is also a Casio AQ800 dropping too. Very different from the G-Shock, but another one that absolutely smashes this collab once again. As you can see, we've got those creeping vines on the dial again with a similar case back engraving, but we've got the number 1 on this one's clasp, which is Vecna's number. Spoiler alert. That a spoiler? But the coolest touch on this watch for me is that the raised metallic hour markers are actually written in the Stranger Things typeface, which is very, very nicely done. To be fair, it's worth noting that almost every single brand out there is collaborating with Stranger Things right now, from Crocs to Nike, even KFC and McDonald's are getting in on the action, so yeah. But fair play, there is so much hype around the show right now, so who can blame them for trying to capitalize? I personally can't wait for the new series to drop, and there are plenty of ways to commemorate if that's your thing. Now, the next cool watch I want to show you is one I've got in hand actually. This is a brand new drop from one of our partners, Yema, that has one of the best dial and bezel combinations you will ever see. There's a good chance you've already heard of Yema. They're a French luxury brand with a very rich history. They were originally founded in 1948 and are well known for their robust tool watches for diving, racing, sailing, and even space exploration. And more recently, they've heavily invested in their in-house movements and modernizing their watchmaking. And this new Navygraf is a fantastic example of that. This one pays a lot of homage to some of their past models. I believe they first reissued in this slimline version in 2024, but now great mother of pearl, look at that dial. And bezel, by the way, incredible stuff. Mother of pearl dials have obviously been a popular choice in watchmaking for years now, but I don't think I've ever seen it on a bezel before. I'm not sure if it's ever been done before. Let me know if it has. Let's talk about specs. So here we've got a 39mm 316L stainless steel case that is just 9.75mm thick or thin. It's 46mm lug to lug with a lug width of 19mm, with a nice predominantly vertically brushed finish with some clean polished chamfers on the sides and a nice round and raised bezel on top, with double domed sapphire crystal protecting the dial and the bezel as well. We've got a 3 o'clock screw down crown, which is nicely polished again, etched with the brand's emblem. And flip this bad boy around and we get to take a look at its movement through its exhibition caseback, which is protected by sapphire crystal again. And right here we've got their in-house micro rotor CMM20 caliber that beats at 28,800 vibrations per hour, has 33 joules and an impressive 70 hours of power reserve. The micro rotor is actually incredibly impressive and allows for a much more refined caliber and therefore watch overall. Jumping off the case, we've got a lovely continuation of that brushed finish. The bracelet nicely tapers down to its 3-fold clasp, which also has a lovely micro adjustment system. Hopefully you can see that, but yeah, that allows for an absolutely perfect fit on the wrist, by the way. And yeah, once on and locked in, as you can imagine, it feels very nice on the wrist too. Anyway, back to the main event. It's dial and bezel. What a view, man. Some lovely iridescence going on here, some lovely tones of blue, purple, silver, and all the rest of it. The phrase that a watch captures the light perfectly gets thrown around way too often. I'm guilty of it myself, but I feel like that literally cannot apply any more than it does right here. We've got some real nice applied steel hour markers here that nicely match the minute and hour hands too. All applied with grade A Superluminova, by the way, which provides a lovely blue hue. blue hue. You've actually got two options with this model. There's one with a lighter blue hue, which is limited to 200 pieces. Then you've got this more subtle model for a bit of a lighter flex, priced at €2,299 on the steel bracelet, or €2,049 if you prefer a rubber strap option, which is just under £1,800. But yeah, what a lovely, lovely watch, man. The dial, the bezel, the finishing, everything just oozes class. You know when you just know you're wearing a really nice watch. I mentioned it before, but it also has a really nice subtlety about it. Like sometimes looking at it head on, it can look quite muted and understated, and then just a slight flick of the wrist, as I'm showing here when I was just sat at my desk, just got a lovely, lovely pop of color. And yeah, man, I'm definitely keen to check out some more of their models. And if you want to check out this one, it's just dropped. They're available right now, and I'll leave a link in the description down below. Now, Tissot have been riding high with the PRX line over the last couple of years. As mentioned, the quartz version is one of the best models you can buy for under $500, and the automatic version is one of the best everyday watches you can get for under £1,000. But recently they've turned things up a notch and dropped a couple of new options with brand new case materials and a new 38mm size as well. So yeah, for the first time, the Tissot PRX arrives in titanium, and it suits it very well. The watch is very much the same aesthetic. It keeps its signature integrated bracelet design, but that matte brushed titanium gives it a much more muted and tall watch vibe. You get a cool, darker tone than stainless steel with titanium watches, and that looks very good here. And of course, being titanium, it's also lighter in weight and more durable too. Two new dial options with this one. We've got a deep blue sunburst dial with silver hands and indices, along with an anthracite grey with rose gold accents, which I think looks amazing. Just that dark grey of the dial matches that dark grey of the case and bracelets so well, along with those popping rose gold accents. Nice. Inside, of course, we've got Tissot's very highly rated Powermatic 80 automatic movement, which offers a massive 80 hours of power reserve. All very good stuff. These titanium versions are priced at £795 or $975. And then moving on to the one made from Damascus Steel. What on earth is that, I hear you ask? I had no idea either, but I've read it's the result of multiple steels being heated, folded, and pressed up to 1000 bar of pressure to form a block, from which the case and dial are then created, which then results in this awesome marble-like pattern that runs throughout the case, which also means that no two watches will be the same, which is very cool. As you can see, this one actually comes on a leather strap rather than the integrated bracelet. Probably would have been too much to Damascus Steel, that one, but it does also mean that the dial and case pop even more, so yeah. Now this one is actually priced slightly higher than the titanium versions at £960 or $1,175. But yeah, incredibly unique and probably well worth the money. I'm sure a load of you are happy with these smaller 38mm dimensions as well. Tissot clearly know what they're doing with the PRX line, and these two new variants offer some very solid new options. Right, so I've featured almost every Casioak known to man on this channel. It's no secret that I absolutely love them, but until recently I hadn't actually ever experienced the creme de la creme, the MRG Casioak in hand. However, as you may have seen in some previous vids, over the last few weeks I was lucky enough to test drive a sample from Casio, which has sadly now gone back. But here's what I think. Now first things first, what an absolute beauty this is. I mean, for any G-Shock fan, an MRG is always an eyesight, and an MRG Casioak, an MRG B2100 more specifically, is one that loads of us have been waiting for. And I absolutely love the stealthy colorway of this one. This was actually the first one they dropped. There's been a few different colorways since, but none of them come close in my opinion. And obviously, thanks to its MRG-like titanium construction, another immediately noticeable thing is its weight. Now it's not crazy light at 122 grams still, but when comparing it to the OG GMB2100, otherwise known as the full metal Casioak, it's actually 43 grams lighter. This MRG is also 49.5mm in length, 44.4 in width, and it's 13.8mm thick. Slightly thicker than the OG GMB2100, but still very much metal Casioak dimensions. Now this model's bezel is composed of 27 individually polished parts, with a very top section made from cobarium, which is apparently 4 times harder than pure titanium. And this is all nicely finished off with DLC coating, sapphire crystal protecting its dial, all further enhancing its overall durability. Now, unlike other models in the MRG line that naturally follow their resin and metal counterparts in the way they look, despite its case being very similar, the MRG B2100 almost went in an entirely new direction aesthetically. So for starters, you've got this really nice brick pattern on the dial, which is inspired by kagumi, which is a traditional Japanese woodworking, and of course the GW-5000's brick pattern and all the brick patterns we've seen ever since. We've got the additions of a second hand, which we never saw before, but arguably most notably, it swaps out the digital display entirely for a nice little date window, along with an entirely newly positioned sub-dial between 6 and 9. So yeah, pretty different from what we're used to seeing. So what does that mean for functions, I hear you ask? Well, in terms of functionality, we've got the big hitters such as tough solar, multiband 6 and Bluetooth, of course, which then enables you to load up even more features via the Casio Watches app. It is worth noting that while of course you can change the time and the date via the watch itself, if you want to go deeper into the watch's functionality, it is almost like like they're promoting you to use the phone linking function, as a lot of these features are only accessible through the app. And if you're used to standard G-Shock features and expecting to see them here, it's also important to note that this actually does not have a stopwatch or a countdown timer or well time, or a battery level indicator. The second hand will jump to let you know when the battery gets low, and you can also view battery level via the app. But yeah, this rather minimalist design does mean that we forego a few functions. This isn't necessarily unusual for MRG lines, and let's face it, you're not really buying an MRG for the list of functions, are you? This is much more of a craftsmanship, durability, and aesthetics piece. And in those categories, it absolutely smashes it. But yeah, overall, another absolutely awesome watch, a real premium luxury feel and look on the wrist, and one that's still absolutely ever so undeniably G-Shock. It's pretty much everything I expected and hoped for from the MRG Casioak line. That being said, this does retail for £4,300 or $5,300. So yeah, a decent chunk of change. What's that, like 8 times the price of the GW-BX5600? And is it worth that? It's very nice. It's very nice. And obviously levels above. It depends what sort of camp you sit in, I guess. I suppose if you're like me and you already have the full metal Casioak and you love wearing it, are you likely going to pay 8 times the price for another watch that largely has a similar aesthetic, just obviously much more superior craftsmanship and construction, etc. But if you are someone that truly appreciates that and loves this line in particular, the MRG is the absolute pinnacle, so you would probably say it was worth it. It also depends whether you're coming from a G-Shock background or the wider luxury watch world, because compared to a load of those models, this offers a lot more bang for its buck. But if you're used to paying G-Shock prices, this is a huge jump and very steep. So yeah, it's an interesting one. It was so cool to finally have one in hand and truly appreciate it in hand for what it is. I mean, yeah, it's a glorious watch. Let me know what you think in the comments. So I spent this past weekend traveling up north to see some family, up to north to see my mother. Anyway, on my return, I had this bad boy waiting for me, the new Central Cee G-Shock collab, which is absolutely fire. Even from the packaging alone, it's, yeah, this is a proper collab. So let's unbox it together. So as I mentioned in our last episode of What's New, this is actually Central Cee's first ever proper G-Shock collab. He's been a brand ambassador since 2024, and they've put his face to a few lines in the G-Shock catalogue, but he's never actually had his first official G-Shock release until now. Look at this, by the way, what a cool tin that is. And this one's all inspired by the British passport, not the current one they're issuing. That is more of a black or blue colour, very, very dark blue that looks basically black. This one's the previous burgundy and gold colourway, of course, that I still proudly own and want to keep hold of, but alas, one day I will need to give up. I think I've got a few more years. Anyway, no one asked. And yeah, this is one of 3 collabs he dropped at ComplexCon in Las Vegas recently. He also had a Nike and a Bape collab in similar colorways, but yeah, man, this is absolutely sick. So as you can see, we've got such a sick burgundy and gold colorway here. We've got a gold Syna logo stamped across the face as well as its case back. We've got a digitalized Syna on its strap as well, which is really cool. Nice gold G button to ignite the light, which also has a really cool Syna logo in red as well. Obviously comes with all of your standard G-Shock features, your countdown timer, alarm, stopwatch, etc. Shock resistant, 200 meters of water resistance, etc. But yeah, what a sick collab, man. Burgundy is not a color you see very often in the G-Shock catalog, and they've absolutely nailed it here, and I love the inspiration as well. Quintessentially British collab, which is really, really cool to see. Big shout out to Mikey at G-Shock for this one. Thanks so much, man. Really appreciate it. Yeah, I'm going to be rocking this one a lot. This colorway is perfect for fall weather as we enter into winter, so yeah. These retail for £129, by the way. They've just dropped on the G-Shock UK website, so yeah, go and check them out if you fancy one yourself. But yeah, I'm going to be wearing this a lot. Probably said that a lot, but yeah, love it. Is it G-Shock collab of the year? Let me know. By the way, if you're enjoying this video so far, if you could do me a massive favor and hit that like button down below, and also hype the video if you can. That worked really well on the last episode. So yeah, if you could do that again, please, that would be amazing. Let's get back to it. Now then, the game changers. Last week, I featured the GW-BX5600s on the channel in our episode of What's New, as they've now finally dropped. And yeah, I've been testing these over the past couple of days, wearing them out and about, and initial impressions are these are just very good, aren't they? Incredibly legible from every single angle, as you'd expect, and immediately so familiar, like instantly feels like a watch you've owned forever. Those of you who are regular wearers of the Square will know exactly what I mean as soon as you pick one of these up. The MIP just feels like such a necessary and seamless upgrade, and despite it being just the screen that's upgraded, that was quite difficult to do with a watch in each hand. It does so much for the overall experience. I mean, the screen is quite pivotal when looking at a watch, but yeah, no more washed out digits as you turn your watch or it's in direct sunlight or anything like that. As you can see, I've got the STN style display on show right now. I haven't yet paired this with my phone. You can only switch the displays using the phone, but I'm really liking this style anyway, and I'm actually really glad it comes in the STN style display by default. Yeah, just think that's really cool. I'm going to be doing a full review of these two. I want to wear them for a little bit longer just so I get that full experience, you know, that full week on the wrist. But just know, so far, so good. Right, we go again. Wrist shot time. We did it again, boys. We did it again. Right then, first up, we've got Richie, who submitted his awesome silver Casioak. Man, what a beaut that is. That looks so clean in the sunlight. Is that the car studio you've got going on there? Looks like it. But yeah, what a clean watch, man. Looks so good on your wrist as well. Congratulations on your new pickup. Next up, we got JP, who submitted his awesome black and yellow Seiko, which looks very cool, especially on that cloth brown strap, mate. Very good choice indeed. Loving that. Looks like an awesome daily. Oh, next up, we've got the 30th anniversary GW-6900. Very nice indeed. My favorite G-Shock model of all time. I tried my best not to say it again. I did so well when I was showing you the Central watch, but yeah, can't help it. What a beautiful watch this is. One that I own as well. Ben sent this in and yeah, looks awesome, mate. Thank you very much for sharing. Oh, very clean GM5600 here, giving me fantastic 4 vibes. What a beauty. That is so clean from your Sagi 704. Man, you have a beautiful watch there, my friend. Next up is Daniel, who actually shares a fantastic 4GA700 or Hidden Glow Series Volume 2, however you want to associate it. Looking extra tough, especially while you're on the weights, my friend. Love that. The GA700 is so underrated, by the way, especially in this colorway. They smashed it with this release. Thank you very much for sharing, Dan. Wicked watch. There are geese flying outside. There's oftentimes noise in the background that you get interrupted by, maybe a car goes past or a lorry or something, but rarely flying geese. Anyway, oh, another absolute beaut, by the way, from Heart Knight. This is a green dialed full metal square, which looks so clean, especially with that positive display. I'm sure I've seen some crazy deals on these lately, but yeah, very solid pickup. What a beautiful watch you have there, mate. Thank you very much for sharing once again. Oh, and last but by absolutely no means least, we've got Gordy's orange dialed full metal Casio that he picked up for an absolute steal from the Time Drop shop, with a very clean earth tone series grey Casio in the background. Nice little sneaky addition to the wrist shot there, my friend. But yeah, Gordy, thanks again for your support. Awesome wrist shot, and yeah, it looks very happy on your wrist there, my friend. So I'm glad it's found a loving home to go to. And speaking of the Time Drop shop, I'm just about to drop a load more watches on there, and also give you guys who are signed up to the Time Drops newsletter a crazy discount code for Black Friday. You already get an exclusive 10% discount code off site-wide, but for this upcoming Black Friday to Cyber Monday, I'm going to be giving you 25% off, which is ridiculous, by the way. If you go on the site right now, you'll see that there's some watches listed on there for some absolute steals already. So it makes no financial sense and is not economically viable whatsoever, but it gives back to you guys, and that's what it's all about, really. So yeah, if you're not on the newsletter already, I'll leave a link in the description below for you to sign up, and I'll be sending out that email with the discount code next Tuesday on the 25th of November. So make sure you sign up right now. Don't miss that. Grab some steals and enjoy. If you got this far, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, and all that good stuff if you haven't already. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Take care.